The Boxer Rebellion. The Boxers are a secret society founded in the northern coastal province of Shandong. The Boxers believe that they could, through training with martial arts, fasting, and to pray, they can perform extraordinary things, such as being able to fly, and they can become immune to swords and bullets. The Boxers were mostly formed out of farmers, peasants, people who suffered through disasters, and opium drug addicts. This war can be a civil war. That is because the rebellion started off with fighting their own country, but then later on it becomes urban warfare, where they fight the eight nations so they can have their freedom back. This war isn't typical because this is the only war where the eight nation alliances has been included in. The war includes only men from the northern China, so you can tell that the war wasn't fair to the Chinese people. During 1898, the Boxers decided to march to the Forbidden City and try to do something with how the government governed the city. On the way to the Forbidden City, they gathered more and more Chinese people who all disagreed with the Westerners intruding the country and destroying the culture of the Chinese. They got so fed up, they planned to kill all the Westerners. When they arrived at Peking, the Boxers held the whole of Peking hostage for 55 days. Western powers decided to secure China and siege Peking and all of the Boxers using the powerful force of technology designed in the Western countries. The Boxer Rebellion could also have been triggered because of the religious matters. Because so much of China was shared between Westerners, they bring along missionaries. They're starting to convert large numbers of Chinese to Christians every day. The Boxers didn't like how they started to change Chinese people. They decided that if they kept this up, there would be no more Chinese religion, so they killed many missionaries. They also decided that they should kill all the Chinese who are now Christians, so they couldn't continue spreading Christianity. The Boxer movement was both anti-dynastic and anti-foreign. The Boxers hate and fear the foreigners, and they also blame the Qing dynasty for its weakness and inefficiency. Since they hate the foreigners and also blame the dynasty, they made a slogan: overthrow the Qing and exterminate the foreigners. The government were having a hard time with all the rebellious movement. The court decided there were only two choices. The court decided to help the Boxers because according to Confucian teachings, the voice of the people should be listened to, and Boxer movement seemed to be the voice they are hearing. They also decided this because rulers of China were always confident that armed peasants would be able to drive out barbarians after regular government troops had failed to. In the Qing's imperial army, they had quite a lot of generals and commanders, but sadly there were two who got killed in action, and they are Ni Shicheng and Ma Fulu. In total, there are 17 commanders and generals. The Qing's strength is 70,000 imperial troops, 10,000 Muslim Kansu braves, several thousand Manchu bannermen of the Tiger, and Divine Corps who are all loyal to Prince Duan. 20,000 of imperial troops were killed during the war. The Boxers' army had only two commanders, and they both survived the rebellion. The Boxers have an unbelievable amount of soldiers and men, who are made out of farmers who lost crops because of floods, opium drug addicts, and lots of other people. They have approximately 1 to 3 million men in their army, and they have lost only about 19,000 men at the least. The eight nations had 4 commanders in total. In the expeditionary force, they had 50,255 men, 1 million Russian troops for Manchurian occupation, 10,000 Imperial Manchu bannermen loyal to Prince Qing, and in the battle they lost 2,500 soldiers, 526 foreigners, and a few thousand Chinese Christians. The official peace protocol was signed in 7th September 1901, but by that time most Western armies had left China. The price for China was high, with a huge bill to pay for the cost of Allied. The Boxer Rebellion started off as a civil war because they wanted the country to be able to sign up for themselves, so they couldn't be bossed around by the eight nations. But in the American Civil War, the southern states wanted independence and how the South Americans kept slavery legal. The northern states didn't want slavery to continue and they banned it, so now the northern part is free from slavery. The two groups of people are abolitionists and the free laborers. The two civil wars have some things in common, such as when the slaves, who are poorer people, they want freedom from the ones who own them, just like the Boxers who want freedom from the eight nations.